Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nightcap Knowledge. My name is George Chuck Patterson. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Affirmations of a Candid, Caring, Crotchety Caricature by Ciora Casper, founder and owner of Sis Love Publishing. You can get Ciora's newest book, her new book, at affirmationsforme.com. This mature theme activity book is also a journal, perfect for women ages 16 plus. If you order it today, it'll be signed by the author. Once again, that's affirmationsforme.com. Tonight's episode is also brought to you by Extraordinary Business Solutions. I'd like to thank them for their support of tonight's episode. If you need reliable, responsive remote PC monitoring for your home office, virtual learning, or small business, EBS has you covered for just $25 a month and absolutely no setup fees. Visit yourebs.biz and take control of your tech today. Here it is. Here's some action. Here is some action. You heard it. Real country. 81 million a day. Definitely a feat in fundraising, but also it shows the type of political climate that we're in. We're talking about Madam Vice President getting the endorsement of the president, Joe Biden. All sorts of political ideas are rolling around. All sorts of political action rolling around. Ladies and gentlemen, share this episode right now. We're talking politics because it's personal, very personal to me. Nightcap Knowledge, Mr. Max here. We'll see who else might jump in. Ladies and gentlemen, Nightcap Knowledge. Put the kids to bed. Let's go. Another episode of Nightcap Knowledge. Mr. Mac, what's happening?
Man, what's the deal, Pickle?
Hey, man, everything's kosher. Everything's kosher. Copacetic. It's cool.
Get my shirt ready so I can tell people this show is rated black and uncensored, real talk, real issues, real solutions. We're going to tell it like it T.I. is.
That part.
Because freedom ain't free.
Freedom ain't free, bro. You got to fight for it.
Got to fight, brother.
And you should aim at teeth. That's my recommendation.
Right in the mouth.
Hit him right in the kisser.
In the mouth. M-O-U-F. mouth.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, look, man. Let's go ahead and dig into it. This is it's a hot political topic.
It's a whole lot going on,
It's
brother.
a whole lot going on. There are a lot of distractions. So, Mac, tell us how you popping this mental health minute off for today.
Mental health minute is responsibility. Responsibility we have for ourselves, responsibility we have for our family and community, and the responsibility we have when you have knowledge and you have talents, you have gifts, you have blessings, you have a responsibility to be able to help your fellow man, to be able to provide to your community. And it's our responsibility. It's our responsibility to carry out our civic duty. Our responsibility to hold others accountable, hold ourselves accountable. It's our responsibility because we draw breath and we are on this earth. So, our part of our responsibility is to help other people understand that this is part of their responsibility. So that's what we're doing, and we're gonna keep doing it until we don't do it no more. What is the rule, Chuck?
Hey, bud, I'm gonna tell you what the groove is with me. We were over in Ocean Springs today. Shout out to you for assisting us in getting all of that set up. Um, I would say that I'm gonna throw this quote up on the screen as I tell you what's the groove, man. And it's quite appropriate. One of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. Plato. Now, we've got some folks out there that subscribe to the ideology, or the notion that the whole they fought and bled for the right to vote. That's not enough motivation for me. And part of my conversation that I delivered to the group at Macedonia Baptist Church over there in OS, right across from I think MLK Park was the name of the park, but really cool park. The boys had a great time. They went out there. We'll throw some pictures up, throw a blog up. I know Sabir's gonna work on that. But the conversation that we had as it relates to the celebration and commemoration of Freedom Summer, in addition to the political climate in which we operate, my thought that I offered to the group, which was majority young people, and of course, those parents and grandparents that are to be sure that they're gonna have their kids in vacation Bible school or the youth roundup, or whatever you want to call it these days. The thing that I offer to them is that most people like to make their own decisions. If we're voting on, it's a barbecue at the house, and we're gonna vote on thighs or wings or both. You felt included. Uh, you may even say, "Well, look, I would like to season the wings like this, or I would like to marinate the boneless, skinless thighs in this particular manner." That's the way that we're breaking things down so that we can help people to understand exactly what it means to have decisions to be made for you, and for you not to have the input, meaning that if the chicken end up wrong, it's because you didn't participate in the process. If you don't like some of the decisions that are being made, it's because you're not participating in the process. Politics is Wakenya, our sister Wakenya. She came on a couple weeks ago, and she said politics is personal. Um, I even offered the idea of your personal choice of ice cream, and this is something that we did with our brother Jason. I think we called it Ice Cream Sunday. Ice Cream Sunday. We put together 4 different candidates that were represented by ice cream flavors. These candidates being represented by ice cream flavors also had platforms. Now, what does that mean? It means that although strawberry is looking real attractive, some of the decisions that strawberry has made previously, and the way that they voted on particular pieces of legislation, doesn't seem like strawberry is the best fit for you. You've never even looked at mint pistachio. But the way that mint pistachio has handled and proposed certain pieces of legislation, or some of the policies that they plan to implement, if they were to be elected to, said office, whatever that office is, it seems like you're aligning with what mint pistachio is. And chocolate, like chocolate just looks sexy. Like, ooh, I that's what I usually go with. Sometimes that may not be what you should, do. You should take time, look at what they're offering, and make a decision based on the information that you have available because you've done the research. So going back to our quote, man, this is the guru, man. If you don't participate in this game of politics, then you definitely gonna be one of the people that's gonna be left standing on the sidelines trying to figure out what happened. And I don't think that um most people like for decisions to be made for their children as it relates to what can be studied uh inside of their classrooms. You want input on that. You don't want to be unfairly taxed. You want access to healthcare, clean drinking water. You want access to healthy foods. You want, man, we want access to good internet. And that was one of the things that I left our we left our group with. And shout out to everybody that's tapping in. Maisha on Facebook and Sabir on YouTube. I left the group with the idea of being active. And the more active you are, the longer your lifespan is, right? So the more active you are politically, the more influence that you have, or have the ability to enact. So I'll say this, y'all. Look, let's not allow ourselves to be governed by inferiors. Let's not allow ourselves to fall prey to um any of the situations where we're looking at the TV screen like, I know that they didn't just say what I think they said, or I know that this is not another bill that is an attack on a particular group of people, and not something that is going to help us all. So let's get in the game. Let's stay in the game. Elections and politics is a year-round sport. So if you're not gonna be on that groove, you ain't got no groove to be on. Don't watch no NFL. Don't watch no MLB. Don't watch no MLS. None of it. Absolutely none of it. And with that being said, how in the hell this lady raised $81 million as Mac pulls up his Miyomi? Ain't that Miyomi? Yeah. How she raised $81 million in 24 hours? Mac, what are your thoughts around, like, what was the motivation for a lot of these first time donors to Madam Vice President's newly presidential campaign?
Well, first of all, when you start breaking down this ice cream, I said Chuck is gonna go like strawberry ice cream. I like the way it tastes, but it tear my stomach up. I ain't never thought about mint pistachio, but it sits with me pretty well. That chocolate, I like it a lot. I like it a whole lot, but I don't know. It just make me feel funny. I thought you were gonna go like the actual because you know this is connected the same way. Like you get a
That
certain feeling.
and that
You know what I'm saying?
is what Jason did. I skipped over the part to where
Yeah.
it was, like, I like the way that this tastes, or I like the packaging, or I like the way that it's combined with other ice cream.
So
I
I,
went
I
straight to the politics, bro.
so let's go politics, right? Miyomi. Miyomi. I don't know what the hell a Miyomi is, right? The name sounds smooth. The
Yeah, I
name
do.
it fits the bottle, and it's a good tasting wine. So I would say it's a good combination of everything together, right? Now, Chuck probably gonna try to figure out what the hell Miyomi means. I know what Pinot Noir. I know what Noir means, right? We know what that means. Uh, so I think it was, from what I gather, it's multitude of things, right? One, the excitement of the potential of a first uh, female president, black female president. Um, there's hope because she's a sound person that thinks, that's quick on her feet, that you can't play politics with and say, oh well, she's race. Try to use the double-edged sword with black folks about being racist, right? So it's a lot. Um, and then she has a track record. She has a track record for us, how she's handled business. Some people are for, some people are not. I think it was that, right? It was people were trying to figure out what the hell they were going to do because they watched President Biden have so many different issues for his health. He had, and that's what one thing we remind folks from when he was elected as vice president with President Obama. He told people he had a speech impediment, right? He's had COVID quite a few times. COVID fog is a real thing, right? He's had multiple falls, right? So you're watching someone that's aging because the presidency aged you. If you don't believe it, Chuck, go pull up a picture of 2008 with President Obama and go pull up the picture of when he came out of the White House in
Man, Clinton,
2016,
HWW, any of them.
except for Agent Orange, right? Because evil don't die and it just keep going. It don't change. They just that's a difference, right? Um, but I think there was a multitude of those things. It's a sign of hope. It's something that folks been waiting for, maybe not thought they'll see in their lifetime. But intellectually sound, right? It's some of the same energy that people had about the first lady, Michelle Obama, right? Like understand, like she's a sharp knife. She knows, but she don't want no part of it. She don't want to deal with that because she's trying to keep the South Side in. And where y'all keep playing games, it gonna come out. This one has been trained for this, um, for being going to law school, being a prosecutor, knowing how to keep your cool and come out. And of course, same thing with with Michelle Obama, but it was just a different attack for her. It was a I'm not even in the limelight, and that's why I saw some people like there'll be the great ticket um with her. But I think it was the energy, the excitement, because people started to lose energy. Those who were looking at supporting the Biden Harris campaign again were starting to
Mm-hmm.
lose energy, have doubts of what was going to happen, and then it was like, okay, audible switch. This is what we're going to do.
All
Um,
right.
so that's what I feel. That's what I feel.
I,
Like I said, there's a
I,
lot to unpack. I told you, this is going to be a whole lot to unpack on these
it
conversations.
is a lot to unpack, and I'll propose a question to you, maybe suggesting a parallel. Like 60 years ago, we were attempting to, our ancestors attempting to encourage and register black folks to vote, uh, while also advocating for ourselves to be included in the Democratic Party via the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party. At the same time, we're also building businesses because either we farm and we make our own stuff, like produce our own stuff, or we have to go and work for someone in some capacity. But you're still producing a lot of the things that you eat at home. Matt, what are the similarities to 1964 and 2024 as it relates to the activities that that we're sometimes involved in, oftentimes involved in terms of voter registration, voter education, and then like the issues have the issues really changed at all? Like let's start there.
So this is what I say about the hard thing about unpacking. Some of the rhetoric they use to take the teeth out of the 12 states that federal government stepped in because of what happened during 1964 with the Voting Rights Act about making sure there was fair practices and all this. Because look, you guys have black elected officials. You have a black president, right? That type of language is what they said, but we had no capacity. Um, we had the same things. Right now, we're fighting for clean water, guys, not just in the state of Mississippi, infrastructure across the country. Let's not
Hmm.
forget the big deal with Flint, right? We're still
Still there.
fighting for clean water, right? Food desert. Now, the climate is more fucked up than ever, right? 60 years ago, it was hot, but it wasn't radiation hot, right? So
It was
now
hot, but it wasn't this hot.
that's another negative we got on this, but we're still fighting food situations, um, equity for its payment to our wages do not equal the bills, the stuff that we have to purchase that we need to live, right? We have certain accommodations now that we are used to that we must have that we did not have then. We did not have internet. We did not have air conditioning. We did not have those things. Now we have to have it. A lot of folks, what people don't realize, a lot of black families still didn't have vehicles in 1964, right? And they worked together and they pulled together. The bus system was a major thing in the 60s for people that live in larger cities.
Yeah.
Um, but we still don't have adequate transportation. Our healthcare system is still bad, like going to the back door, right? We still talk about that. Food, and for us, the processed food now is we were in a worse situation than we were then with processed food because now you're able to get something for cheap, but it's doing you more harm than good.
Right.
Um, Economically, banking systems, we still have things that are happening to us now where we're not using money as much as credit, but we had credit then, right? You had to go to the big store, or whatever the store was,
The
and you
general
had
store.
credit with them, and you never got out of debt. You never got out, and if you never had credit with this person to show that you could pay them back, it was hard to get credit when you needed. You know, Education system. You were fighting to go to school. You want to be able to go to school, want to be able to read, want to be able to make something out of yourself. But now we fighting that because you are in school and you are just going through rigmarole, but you're really not learning the things you need to learn to help you as a person. Because now they have changed things. You can't even learn about your history.
Yeah.
So we,
Skills development. You have to pay or go into to so far into debt as it
yes,
relates to paying for school. So if you want, and then we ain't even got into the rollback of quote unquote affirmative action, and we got
oh man,
somebody named Paul that's asking where we're from. Paul, as you can see next to my name, it says the Mississippi Coast. And Mac, you see it says Hint World South. So we from the South, specifically Mississippi and
Mississippi.
Alabama.
Yeah.
So go ahead, man.
So the other thing about it, right? We talked about what's the difference, and the comparison was the people in '64 did not know. They were like, if we gotta fight, and there was a hope that things would change if they kept fighting. They would have some equal, and we'll be able to move the needle. We will see once we get this able the ability to vote. We'll be able to see some changes and things of the nature. We have lived and saw the first black president elected twice, and we've saw the rhetoric that have come out of people's mouths. And as we fight to continue to try to have a group of people see us as something different than what they want to believe, our social media is flooded with a woman being executed on cam, right? In in 2024, right? Same things, right? Same thing they did then. So we are facing the same battles, but a lot of times with us, it's like what Kenya said. We have a lot to lose. We have a lot to lose. Then we had a lot to lose. Now uh, the similarities are parallel, and we just got to know that we are in the same situation. We got to know we have to do what they did then, but it has to be adjusted to our time frame now. What does that look like for us right now?
Yeah.
And I heard them say, right, those who fought said, we wish we had fought for more economic justice while we were fighting for political justice. So they recognize how much economic played a part, because what happened after segregation, the black community became more unstable, because the systems, now you was able to go to the different areas. People would want to go here. People start to move.
Yeah.
Then they start to develop, and they came to you posing that if they wanted to make your community better, and they really divided it and separated your community and said, "Well, Chuck, oh, you have a degree and you're this. Oh, you're different from the guy that mops the floor. Y'all don't have anything in common. Me and you got more in common, Chuck." And you're like, "Yeah, you know." And so then you start to separate, and you don't see your brother as your brother now. Um, but now we're in situations where people that you worked with are cool with, as soon as something that's a hot political topic or someone gets selected, they mad at you. Now you ain't did nothing to them, ain't never stopped
Yeah.
speaking to them, and they respond to you totally different.
Yeah.
You can't even come and be happy. They look at you like,
What you happy
because
about? You ain't happy about.
they associated you with that person.
Yeah.
So all that relationship that y'all had for 8 years is gone, because now someone that might favor your might do more legislation that might benefit your people and your family more, and they family that benefited 120 years. Your family might benefit from 4 years, and they looking at you like that's not fair.
I guess it's the idea that if it's the if it ain't for me, then it definitely shouldn't be for you mindset. And that that's selfish, that's selfish and self-centered. I believe that I've heard the phrase thrown around before that a rising tide lifts all boats. Um, which is if you put it in a bathtub and you feel you got boats, little floaties at the bottom of it, right? Literally everything will rise up, right? Now you could have a Paw Patrol, the big boat on Paw Patrol, and you can have a little dinghy, right? The point I'm trying to make it is this: they don't even realize that they have larger boats, like better boats, and we're making like we're sorcerers with sorcerers of small resources, and you're able to look at things and say, I see how I could make these $2 look like 20. And I guess that's where you were going with like mortgages and things like that. Like you're attempting to pay for school, but you can't get into a particular school, so you go to this other school, and then you get a degree, and the degree is quote unquote not as good as the degree from down the road up the highway a piece, but you're still able to create businesses that are doing things at a high level, or organizations that are doing things at a high level and are addressing the needs of people, and you're being celebrated by your people. And you get to the point where it's like, well, like, let's multiply this, let's 10x this thing, let's grow this from um past our community. Let's get into public office so that we can serve the larger community. And when you do that in this country, it seems as if they they really want to go back to separate and unequal.
We
I mean,
already we already unequal, right?
yeah,
So the thing about it is, we might
quote
as well
unquote.
be separate. We might as well be separate. Um, you know, I, and I say that because they have indoctrinated us with that belief, or that one day we all gonna be. And it's like, and that's why I tell people I don't ever want to hear the "I have a dream" speech ever again. I don't even participate. I,
I,
and
I, I'd have heard it enough of.
because I don't hear because it's the fascination of with the dream, right? What's the
Yeah.
plan? What's the reality, right?
Like,
And
give me the business plan.
but the business plan was toward the end of life when he was assassinated. When you start talking about the money
Which is the point that you were making about, our mentors saying that they wish they had fought for more
of economic
economic.
power to
Yes.
stand on your own. And our history shows again why they want you to know your history because again, African proverb states, if you do not know where you're going, any road will take you there.
Any road to take you
Right?
there.
The Sankofa body is forward, the head is back. If you don't know this, then you start to repeat it and you don't even know that you're repeating it. You don't even know we've
Hmm.
been down this road before. We have the buying power. So here's the other example. There's a friend of ours, I would say doctor, but he can't call it doctor, but Mr. D. Measy, David Mosley, he talked about this. He's talking about this on multiple levels about us. He talked about the D9. He talked about the power, and he's had this conversation with me about 3 months ago, and then
I owe him a
yesterday.
call back. Boy, you just reminded me of something.
But he said we have. He said y'all don't understand how much power y'all have. It's
Hmm.
like he said the D9, the largest, what y'all could do, and in 2 days, in 2 days,
81.
right,
No,
right,
2 days is over 100 million, right?
because don't forget the money from the other campaign is going to go over too. So, but it's just proof of what we could do with the right motivation. And you're like, and again,
Yeah.
man, I can't afford that such and such until you get that pressure on you, and then you find the money, whether it be whatever it may be. You might need a new truck or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Hey man, I can't until the pressure's on, right? And you're like, I didn't think I could do it, right? Because so now the pressure is on, and you were able to unite and raise this much money. Now, think about if you did this once a year, right? And we took over small seats and junior seats on these different companies that are publicly traded that are not doing right by our people. Just think about that, right? Just think about it when it comes to we're going to buy this whole state. You know, it's a
Uh-huh.
plan, an economic plan. We're going to create our own. Well, we can't afford our own manufacturing company. And I'm not saying all the money that was raised came from black folks, but I'm just giving an example of what we could do if we utilize the resources that we already have connected. We already went to college. And I'm speaking for us, you know, uh, those who are out there. We already been to college. We already part of a fraternity. Why are we not using those two
To
resources
organize.
to
Yeah.
organize and build? And here's my biggest fear. It's a couple factors that, again, I'm not one of those people that's easily emotionally moved. Moved, like people just like, oh yeah. I'm like, no, no. We know the work behind it, right? We know the challenge. Documents have already been filed within less than 48 hours. Documents already been filed, right?
Yeah.
Again, from the opposition, because
To
that's what it's going to
in
be.
an attempt to discredit.
So I always, last time we had this conversation, I said the hog versus lion mentality. The hog can't wait to lay in the sun and get his feet, kick his feet up, and be there and be happy. And somebody's gonna clean up the trough, and somebody's gonna bring him something to eat, and everything is good now. I can rest. I ain't got to worry about nothing. The lion get up. The lion got to go chase a gazelle. The lion got to protect the pride from hyenas. Then the
Yep.
lion got to turn around, and that little cub that you raised and reared now is smelling his ass and think he's big enough to try you. So now you got to fight amongst your own people that you are trying to protect
Yeah.
just to protect them. That's the lion. Hog. Once we get this person in place, we can go back to doing nothing. Everything is fine. And we can kick our feet up. Point out the opposition when Agent Orange didn't get the election didn't go the way he wanted it. They immediately had a meeting with 16 governors from around the state and started working on their plan and raising money. Immediately. Didn't wait. We as a people got to understand, and I'm talking about black people. And if you organize, once we get organized and then we start working with more larger groups of white people, that's fine. But I'm talking for as black people, when you realize that you are the lion and not the hog,
Right.
that you have to constantly be working on a plan and constantly be ready to fight. And that
There
you
is no
cannot
off
drop your
season.
cards. There is no off season, no days off. But we've been conditioned and pushed the program today. If we get this done, you ain't got to do nothing. I've heard political officials when they run for campaign, if you
Right.
just elect me, that's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do.
And that's what we want to hear. So I can go back and close
Yeah.
my door and watch TV.
Yeah.
That's not the reality, right? And it was like, man, y'all always doing something. Because shit is always happening. Always happening. It just tend to hurt. Some people don't address it, but having that strong economic foundation, having more say so and control financially, and owning more land, owning more property. But then people say ain't got to do with it. You a goddamn lie. If you own, you if power concedes to power, iron sharpens iron. If you have stuff and they need you as much, and they know they need you, and they know that they got to accommodate you in order to get what you have, then they start making decisions that include you and what's best for you. Because you
Yeah.
say, you know what? Fuck this. We ain't gonna do none of this.
We
We're
ain't gonna
going
do
to,
none of that.
and we're done. Right?
Yeah. Being active in the process of civic engagement at all levels. One of the things that I talked about earlier with the group that we spoke with, I specifically made more focus on during this presentation, made more focus on the local elections, school board, city council, county commissioner, and even those statewide seats. Because some of the people in the room, they had never heard of a public service commissioner or insurance commissioner, or secretary of state, and not knowing, you know, what those particular positions actually handle day to day, and how it ultimately impacts them, inside of their home. And by drilling down there, I said, well, once you get these people in place, and then you start to think about, well, who's going to represent me and my interest in Washington? There's got to be somebody, from your area. But if that person goes up there and they don't represent your interest, or they're making decisions on your behalf, and you're trying to figure out, like, where did this decision come from? So we were able to make the connection there. And ultimately, when you make good decisions and you put good people in place, uh locally and at the state level, then we'll see different results and different decisions being made at that federal level. And our brother CJ broke it down, and I like the way he said it. Like right now, and of course I don't like the outcome, but we have a conservative supermajority in the Supreme Court, and that's because of the way that um that the selection has been done. Now, the thing that I don't like, um the the railroading, or the blocking of certain appointments, just because, and it's the same, I guess, tactic. It's like, when it doesn't benefit me, I will throw a temper tantrum. I will use um the art of repetition, and I will say something, X number of times, so that it it hits, people hear it, and even though it's not true, they've heard it enough times, somebody's going to start believing it. And it's for us to be as smart as we supposed to be, we really allow media to influence us, and now misinformation and disinformation um dominate the especially social media, but is even leaking over into media. So now, Mac, what are your thoughts around how we combat misinformation and disinformation? Um, not just for this particular election, because at the end of the day, like we talking policies, we're talking who does what, like the actual responsibilities of these particular offices, all those things. There's a lot of misinformation around the political process and what these political offices oversee.
Well, so for me, and I point out the benefits and the negative. I know Sabir, Sabir's on. He's like, "Oh, I love AI, or IT, or uh, all this new technology." I hate it, and I mean I hate it because it has made us very non-personable. It has made us lazy to a degree. It has allowed too many people to have too much control over you, meaning that I can influence you on multiple levels, right? I can influence you. Now, remind you now, I'm one of those, I didn't watch certain cartoons that y'all watch until I got 14, 15 years old because I grew up and we didn't have but three channels. So, as I grew up, as I look back now, I had smaller influence of certain stuff because I couldn't watch it. So I didn't have it. Right. You see what I'm saying? So by the
Yeah,
time y'all was through watching whatever, I'm like, when I literally got to town, I was like, oh shit, this the show that they were talking about in class 2 years ago. Right. Because that's what you hear people talking about it, and that's what you want to look at. But what I'm meaning is AI now is so critical that you cannot decipher what is a real legit post or something someone put out. Oh shit, they said that such and such slapped such and such, or that such and such done got an army and they coming through, and you all upset, and you're like, oh, that's not real. And then somebody say, well, somebody that's a techie is saying, like, oh, you can just check if you don't see that gold, this, there, here, or that blue there, and it, but like the average person don't know that. Only thing they saw was that there's a army about to attack because someone has posted that flyer or created it on the social media to influence you to put you in that mindset. Now, people were scared as shit last week that you wouldn't be able to get your money, that you wouldn't be able to go to the doctor because the systems was down, that you weren't gonna be able to do a whole lot. You couldn't even fucking fly, right? They've been flying since when? Since World War II,
the Wright brothers.
and you couldn't even fly last week. And you know what I'm saying?
Now,
Because
this wild right here. Healthcare systems are depending more and more on AI for decision making. It's frustrating and
correct.
terrifying, man.
Yeah. So it's the same thing that we talk about with financial freedom, right? We talk about there's an algorithm. Chuck is a 41-year-old black male. He makes $50,000. Da 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 da. He has this debt. He's approved for this, but they didn't take into. Chuck also has this business. Chuck also does this. They didn't take all that into consideration because they are not a human.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I got so much stuff that's been messed up because AI did it, right? One of our
Not
sorority
Allen,
sisters,
not Allen Iverson.
not Allen Iverson. It's probably been better if that AI did it, right? But they are pushing us to the point where we are not as sociable. We're not when we're not as sociable, we're not having as many conversations. We're not having conversations. We don't find out what we have in common. When we don't find out what we have in common, we are not as united. Right now, you see a strong mobilization. Now, will this turn into organization for a greater? It depends on who can get control of the masses. But also, you see spins. You see people creating fake news, fake literature, fake whatever to keep folks confused and not knowing what's true and what's not. So I said this in reference to the work that we do around the electoral process. I said when your name was on a paper roll and they had to say George Patterson live at such. That's it. Now we have folks that young, especially at college at Tougaloo, show up. They have a card showing that they are a registered voter. They have all the information on there. They go there and get ready to vote. Their name is not on the iPad. It has been deleted. It's been taken out because it was purged. But you're like, but I just checked 3 weeks ago. I just got my card. And they're like, well, sir, it's not here. Because somebody deleted it. They took it out. It, so it has a major influence on what we do and how we do it. And people gonna say, well, they're gonna counteract and go back and forth. I said, that's why I don't say about certain stuff because it becomes a back and forth argument. I'm showing you the things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis and how it's affecting the average people. When you work with a lot of seniors or folks that don't have a lot, and when they confused, when they almost lost their benefits because they didn't understand the question, or they tell you to go online to fill this out and they don't have access to internet or a computer. um it makes a world of a difference, right? But for as the missing information from media, from social media, because a lot of us not watching the news, we're not definitely ain't reading no newspaper. We ain't read. I'm a big fan of what, Chuck? Public radio. Big fan of public radio,
Yeah.
right? The F, and we talked
And
about this.
shout out to Joe Nasty, NPR. Shout out to Java, DJ Java. I said Joe Nasty. Shout out to DJ Mr. Adams, and shout out to DJ Java
I met him. His name was Joe Nasty. I'm gonna call him Joe Nasty. and and Hove.
and Hove.
Yeah,
Yeah, DJ
yeah,
Hova.
yeah. DJ Hove, right?
Yeah,
Let me reintroduce herself. Like, so, but these brothers who are dealing with this, and we have now more influence in these things that we turned away from. But even the FCC rules changed because the most influential thing we had during the 60s that helped with the movement was black churches, our schools, and our radio. That's why
yeah.
one of our favorite movies is Talk to Me. Ralph Waldo Peter Green, right? How
Come
he
on,
was
I need to go back and
influential.
watch that.
Man, you gotta watch it.
I need
But
to go back and
it,
watch it again.
how was radio so influential to us, right? We didn't have TVs. We listened to the radio, right? And we had access to radio, and we was able to influence each other through radio. We listened to that station.
Yeah,
So what I'm saying now, other folks got so much control over stuff that we pay attention to, so they are able to put their ads and different things to influence us, even through different movies and music. Because again, I was talking about this before. You grow up watching this, and you think this is how I'm supposed to carry myself as a black man. Where is the black family that's Yellowstone,
it is in Alabama,
right?
Bridgeforth Cotton.
So just think
What
about
what a
if
TV
your
show?
if you think about your boys growing up watching this black family with a farm, riding horses, and or westerns, and they kicking the shit out of everybody, and they're gonna be looking like, damn, daddy, I want to be a cowboy, but now they're like, I don't want to be no farmer because don't nobody look like me.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But that we don't have that now. Now we know a lot of black farmers.
yeah. We do.
We know a lot about this, but you don't see those shows. They constantly sending the same message to us and conditioning our mindset and
Messaging and
not to be able to.
propaganda is definitely a tool.
Billions of dollars are spent. And you know what else they do? They make
Now,
us spend more money on shit that we don't need to impress people we don't like.
very much so. I think, and this is my analysis. I I believe that Donald Trump's Republican Party has skillfully executed.
Agent Orange. Don't give him don't give him the name. Don't even speak his name like Ramsey. Don't speak his
Well, look, Agent Orange, Happy Shouty, uh, his his version of this conservative or Republican Party and the people that are pulling the strings have skillfully executed messaging and propaganda over the past 8 years. I believe that they studied the success of organizing for America and the way that President Obama was able to utilize social media, they've taken it, put their own spin on it, and made it very, very inflammatory, and has and have been able to mobilize, well, truly change the way that a lot of people think about certain issues, and then also mobilize them and get them to lean more towards uh the the line of thinking that benefits um this particular small group of people that are charting the course for this Republican Party that we're experiencing right now. The Dems, um, whether they are moderate, liberal, or conservative, or whatever, they have not been able to let's keep it a buck. You got the tools, but you don't know how to use them. Like, you even got the supplies. You've got the resources. You have all of these things in your toolbox, but you really don't know how to use them. And I think that's really part of the issue, is like, it's been reactionary. You're not going on the offensive. You're not looking at things, and they probably think that they are, but 4, 8, 12, 16 years, 20 years down the road, we have to have that type of foresight and the developmental pipeline in place, so that when positions and offices become available, we're gonna say, well, look, I know that y'all think that this might not be the right person for the job, but that's we need that right now. And some of us are going to have to, and we had this conversation with White Kenya. Like, some of us are gonna have to get uncomfortable and jump into some of these open seats and these uncontested races. We're going to have to get into the political fight, because otherwise, we could throw the quote back up there. That's it right there. If you refuse to participate, you're gonna end up being governed by your inferiors. You, you muted yourself that time, Mac. I can't unmute you. There you go.
First of all, let's talk about the elephant in the room. It's a grown, dusty ass man running around with a goddamn always maxi pad stuck to his goddamn ear. That's one. First of all, we got to point that out. And then the dumbasses are mocking him in support by doing the same shit.
But these are the same people, the party of the same people that said, I'm not gonna wear no diaper on my face.
But you got a goddamn tampon on your fucking ear. But anyway, uh,
Max
I
pad.
digress. Right. So you talk about media and understanding and instilling the model. I think what you just said, sometimes we don't recognize. All right. So we gotta highlight us. 2004, we kicked off, right? Moved the
Yeah,
vote
yeah.
out, doing everything. Connection to the highest seat in the state, which was the governor's seat, which was a part of a different, which were part of the Republican Party, sent word to reach out to us that wanted to use our method that we were using to register folks, wanted to hire us a contractor. We never heard from anybody that looked like us, right? So the opposition recognized what worked or what was going on or
Hello.
what was, that's a good idea. Oh, I like that energy. I like our folks never recognized it. Matter of fact, you probably even posed a threat more so because against their status quo, right? Because you were comfortable where you were. You weren't trying to build for the next group. Because you didn't see yourself leaving that seat for a long time. And it actually created more fear. right? So that was then. Now remember, in 2012, after President Obama won, the same thing was said by the same governor. We have to look at restructuring because the numbers came too close, right? They have always moved off of fear. The fear that if this certain group gets power, we're gonna lose our power.
Right.
We not our children not gonna be able to eat. We're not gonna have this, and we're not gonna have that, and they and all
We're
of
not
them,
gonna have jobs.
and they get to the point where they want to believe it because they want to believe it. It goes back to if anybody ever watched the movie Rosewood, everybody know, right, that the lady lied about the black man. She lied.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then sitting around the fire when they looking to hang this black man and all of them out there together, they knew that she was screwing everybody in the crew. But they still pretended like this black man actually did it and went to look for that black man.
She for the streets.
But they knew better. They knew that this, but they still like, we want to go do it anyway. We want to believe it. It ain't that it's facts. We want to believe it.
Yeah.
Then the
Yeah.
opposite, and then on this, and for this conversation, the other folks, what you were saying, they don't want to believe it. And you could look at like, we have the power to beat them, right? No, I know we don't want to go that route. We don't want to anger. We don't want.
Sometimes you gotta be
You
offensive.
need that. You need that 300 mentality where you look around, and one of your frat brothers actually, y'all actually did this. And when he looked, and once he saw his own blood, he was like, "Fuck this!" Right? Take the fight to the to them.
Take it right to their front door, man. Take it to
We
their front door.
and so what does that look like? It looks like taking control of your economic system,
Yeah.
creating real ways to educate your community, banding together, planting gardens, or buying land as a collective. It looks like starting business and shopping within your circle. That looks like a lot of different things. The crazy thing about it is we know so many people that has already started this foundation for that. Just like right now, I don't know how many views we got, but having this type of conversation, not only just a talk, but also with a plan, which is part of what we're going to end up going to with the Freedom Summer Project, is a plan. It's we're actually doing trainings, workshops to help prepare you for all of this that we're talking about, but it's not attended because it's not popular, because a lot of people are not talking about it, because social media is not putting it in front of you. It does
Yeah.
not sound like it's the place to be. Like, oh, you don't want to go to the boring stuff. You want to go to the stuff that's exciting. The stuff that's boring gets you to the places that's exciting.
Hello.
That's that's what gets you there, right? And that's where you want to
It's the
be.
process.
We don't want so now with us being in that microwave time, we want everything now and we want instant gratification. And because we think that way, which is the difference from the 60s, they believe they were hoping that within their lifetime. Now I'm saying that these young folks, these folks were in 1964, they were 16 to 21. And they were just hoping in their lifetime they could see some change.
Yeah.
Our
And
thing,
and
yeah.
just to put a bow on it, it's us and the people that we run with. Uh, we we are continuing those efforts. Look,
Well,
why used to say we need to start a Thundercats party?
wow.
A
Thundercats
Thundercat.
roar. Hey. Thundercats. It's time to do, and it's not. That's an old saying. We keep saying it's time to do something. And I always used to ask that question. Well, who is it that you want to do it, and what do you want them to do? But you don't include yourself in the doing of the something.
Yeah.
And even if you realistically say this is what we're going to do to orchestrate change. Well, we can't do this. Well, the children, they can't go play basketball because crime's so bad. Okay, all right. So this is what we'll do. We'll get some of the guys in the community, some of the dads, whatever, and with the uncles, whatever, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna work in shifts. Instead of having every weekend, y'all got 2 weekends a month,
Right.
right? We're gonna rotate, and we're gonna take one each group gonna take 1 weekend a month to make sure that we keep it safe so y'all can go to the basketball court. That's a plan, right? That's a plan. That works. Why does it work? Well, that's part of what we started doing when I was like it was so much shit happening one day, and I said, "Hey, Chloe," I said, "Man, listen, man, I don't know nothing about no basketball, but can we bring back the midnight basketball thing that y'all were doing?" He said,
Yeah.
"It's funny you say that. I was just talking to Ronnie, and they were talking about bringing it back." I said, "Man, listen, I don't believe reinvent the wheel. How can we help?" So Mississippi moved. We got out. We did voter
Yeah.
registration. We got B&B barbecue. Big shout out to Marcus Banks. And that when it first started back,
Shopping
we
with the crew.
did hot meals. Them brothers, and it rained that night, and they walked.
They came in droves.
They
They came in
came because they
droves.
somebody put something there and they wanted to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Now at the Arc off of Raymond Road, it's a given on a Friday night. You see 125 young brothers in there,
That's
and
outstanding.
that's a norm. You got 3 freaking basketball courts, right? They are
Yeah.
there, and he had to hire security because some dirty, dusty, under the toenail some bitch was breaking into folks' cars while they in there playing basketball. It so what I'm saying is our community, we can there are things out there and it's not as complex as we think to be able to
Yeah.
get the attention. We gotta buy into what already has their attention, right? And we gotta and I'm talking about everybody, not just the younger folks. Our barbershop chop ups has been doing really well. It's a space where you can talk without worry about offending somebody or not getting something right or somebody's looking at you crazy or you say, "Man, you a grown man and don't." No, there's no wrong answers. Chuck said that in 2009 at our first man talk at at Mississippi Children's Services. He said it. No, there are no wrong answers. Speak whatever you want to say. And the young men were so happy that they could actually ask questions without somebody making fun of them,
Yep.
and they were able to learn.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So they were 16, 17 then.
That you know what we were, quote unquote, creating these safe spaces before we even knew what safe spaces were, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It so at that point in time that we were doing that, we're having these conversations, but that's how you educate. That's how you invest.
Yeah.
Right. And so you would tell us, now there's a whole push about getting more black men involved. Everybody needs to feel needed. Everybody. Whatever their strength is, they need to feel needed. Right.
Yeah. Hug me. Let me feel needed. Wanted.
Well, just don't fuck with me. That's all. I'm different.
What?
Just
Just leave me alone.
leave it. And I mean that like when we because people, uh, they target the brothers. And I was saying this, and I say this in defense a lot of times for us. I said I hate hearing these the way they say that, man, y'all like a Jamaican, y'all like this. I said we black men. I said let's destroy this stereotype that black men don't work hard. I
Yeah.
said, because all the brothers I know hustle. All the brothers in our circle, majority, they rolling, they
Yeah.
working,
I
right?
don't want no lazy dudes, man.
But I want you to lead them brothers alone, man. Stop painting us all with that same brush, right?
Yeah.
But that the organization and structure, it starts in pockets, right? It might start with us starting with healthcare, um, talking to brothers about being healthy, about financial literacy, then connecting it to the electoral process and saying
Yeah.
this is why, right? Because they got a cousin or 2 cousins that don't vote. They know they don't vote, so now he can reach these 2 guys, right? Because
Yeah.
now he got more. Man, listen, he gonna tell them about it. Say, hey man, listen, you ain't got nothing to do. Come with me to the next chop up, right? And
Yeah.
that actually happened, right? I watched the debate happen in front. It's the barbershop, Chuck. It's the barbershop. And it happened. And the brother went in the back. He ain't never came out yet. This was about 3 months ago. I don't know where he went, but he went in the back. He started the conversation and he went in the back. He never came back out.
Oh
Uh,
Lord. The man went to
but
the store for a cigarette, then come back.
he came back out. But so we're looking at what's happening. My greatest fear with President Harris is that she is a contractor and that the people won't do the work to send her a plumber,
Mm.
a concrete fixer, electrician. And I said the exact same thing when President Obama was elected. Folks were
Yeah.
overly
But
excited that
that's the
this
road blocking and the filibustering and the drawing the
because
party line.
you don't have all of the stuff that you need. And then within several months after being elected, you turn around. I thought you said you were going to do this. Yes, but you took my hammer and you told me to bust rocks. But I thought you said you could bust rocks. Yes, if I
With
had
hammer.
my hammer and the big enough hammer
Yeah.
and a spike, I could bust rocks. But there's
Mm.
excuses. Like, no, that's fact, right? And so that's what I want us to understand. Why we got this hype, understanding that it's more than if this is your queen, right? We playing chess.
Right.
Where is the bishop? Where is the king? Where are the knights? Where are the pawns?
Yeah,
Where are the
where are these pieces that we know that we need to have on the board for us to be successful?
so the queen can move about and do the queen's job and be
Right.
protected?
Yeah.
And that's not. And speaking of that, the director for the Secret Service just stepped down, right?
I saw that.
So that is a fictional metaphor, but it also is something that's real that need to be looked at, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I want us to pay attention and be serious about those things, um, and understand that we are really dealing with some of the same shit that they dealt with in 1964. Not just
Y-
the talk and the rhetoric, like the physical stuff is happening with the
It is
money,
still
with the
happening.
systems, with the people showing up and doing crazy stuff in neighborhoods. It's really, really happening, and we have to be properly prepared to take care of ourselves,
Yeah.
right? And we
And one of the ways that we can get prepared is to, know where we've come from, know some of the tactics that have been used, and we're studying some of that this weekend, July 25th through the 27th, Freedom Summer 60th, the new Freedom Summer Project. You can register online at msmove.org, or you can search on Eventbrite and register there as well. So we encourage everybody to come out, because we're going to have our mentors and our elders that passed on knowledge to us, and continue to work in the struggle for Black people just to be free. So if you're interested in some of these things, I think Mac has made the recommendation. They're gonna try to live stream some of it. I don't know. We're gonna figure that part out, but please know that this is a space for you if you're about building Black future and about participating in the year-round election season, because ain't no days off, and we got to make sure that we're creating spaces and places for our families to be able to thrive.
And then on Saturday, right? On Saturday,
Yes, sir.
it goes back to building and supporting the systems and institutions that put it there. We have a free show, Blues at the Lou, and it's a dual celebration. We're celebrating the 60th anniversary because blues and freedom and civil rights are connected, right? And we're going to be doing that. It's a free show, asking folks to donate, and the proceeds will be going to assist Tougaloo with putting it together or redoing their water system, right? As we talk about infrastructure and everything that's going on around the country, this is part of our process when we talk about helping and assisting our institutions, um, taking care of our own, creating an economic system where we can be self-sufficient and independent, do for self. Those are the things that we try to live by, and that's what we're doing here. We're creating ways to raise money to be able to give back to the school, to continue to give back to us.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
so we got great ideas, and we know from watching on social media that y'all out there know where the goddamn money is, and you know where the money resides. So if y'all can, right, help us get there. Help us get to where the money resides.
Wait.
We appreciate y'all for checking in one more time for affirmationsforme.com. Thank you for your support of Nightcap Knowledge. The EBS agent, your EBS.biz, man. Thank y'all for your support of Nightcap Knowledge. We will see y'all next week, each and every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Make sure you get your nightcap, but also make sure you put those kids in bed. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Nightcap Knowledge, hosted by George, Chuck, and Mr. Mac. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.